Alright, so I covered Dark Magician as well as the Blue Eyes White Dragon on the Ultimate Collector's Guide. So in this episode, we're going to be covering the ace monster of episode 1, the monster that put Kaiba in his place, and that is Exodia, the forbidden one. So without further ado, this is the Exodia Ultimate Collector's Guide. Let's get into it. Alright, so in terms of artworks, Exodia himself didn't get too many variants. There's basically two. There's the original uncensored OCG version, and then there's the TCG version where they removed the pentagram from behind him, and then they pretty much put a spellbinding circle to replace that. In this video specifically, we're going to be following mostly TCG variants, and then I'm going to sprinkle in some OCG variants as well. For the TCG variants, like I said, most of the releases are spellbinding circle versions. One thing that I do have to mention is that there is a difference between Exodia the Forbidden One and then Exodia as well as all his pieces. On the TCG side, we didn't get too many variants that pretty much whole encompass Exodia as well as his limbs. Too many times we got releases of just the head being holographic and then everything else being either a common or a rare, which is really disappointing. So for this first segment, we're going to be covering every variant where you're going to see every single piece of Exodia being holographic. And just like the Dark Magician and the Blue Eyes, this card debuted in the Legend of Blue Eyes as an ultra rare. The first edition variant of this card is the most sought after variant. This card comes in first edition, unlimited, as well as EN, and the first edition comes in glossy and wavy. I personally prefer the glossy variants as they shine like crazy, and the wavy variants actually take a lot away from the shine of the card. The card code for this specific Exodia set is LOB120 all the way up to 125. There's 5 cards in here, all ultra rares. Again, there's variants for LOB, so there's like LOBE, LOBA, like there's a lot of different variants. If you're trying to collect every single Exodia, you have a tough task ahead of you just in the LOB aspect alone. The cheapest alternative for this is the promos that were released in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Legendary decks. This was in 2015, and I would say that's the budget option for the ultra rare variants of the Exodia pieces. Next up is the secret rare, and that comes in 2 different versions. The first version was released in 2006, and that is the Ultimate Beginners Pack. This is a promo set which includes every single piece of Exodia as a secret rare. This is by far the rarest version of Exodia. It is a lot rarer than LOB first edition, but obviously the demand is much higher for LOB. I personally love this set. It looks fantastic. It has that old creamy vanilla style. The vanilla is a custardy yellow. It's not mustardy, so it doesn't have that really ugly yellow to it. It goes for around $1,000 to $1,500 for a near mint to mint complete set. And since it's a promo set that came all together, usually you'll find the promo set all together in the wild as well. Now the second version of the secret rare is the Legendary Collection Yugi's World. Now, I didn't put this as a cheaper alternative to UBP because I really think it's its own separate release, and I think it's just as collectible as the UBP. So this set came as separate pieces inside of the Legendary Collection Yugi's World reprint set. This is by far one of the most popular reprint set of all time, and it has fan favorite reprints of like the Dark Magician, Dark Paladin, Dark Magician Girl, as well as the Exodia in secret rare. Now there is a problem with this set, and that is it was released right after the Konami UDE split. I covered this in this video here, and because of this, the set results in having terrible secret rare for the first edition variants. They look absolutely terrible, so in this case, I highly recommend you check out the European versions because the Europeans look unbelievable. They're spectacular. They look pretty much as good as UBP, maybe even better. If you don't want to go for the first edition variants of the European or even the first edition variants of the North American, I have really good news for you because the unlimited version came after Konami got their shit together, so the secret rare foiling on the unlimited looks incredible. It looks just as good as the European, so if you don't really care about the first edition stamp, the North American unlimited is not only a better looking version of the first edition, but it's much cheaper as well. Those are the only 2 secret rare versions that were released for Exodia. Now let's get on to one of my favorite modern releases, and that is the Starlight Rare. This Starlight Rare set was released in 2022 and it was in Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge. The set started off extremely expensive, but it has completely crashed down to around $500. This is unbelievable value in my opinion. You are getting an absolutely gorgeous Exodia set. The set is extremely rare. I'm pretty sure it's like 1 Starlight per whole case. Like, that's unbelievable value for under 500 bucks. Like, you are getting a lot of value for your money here. The set is absolutely gorgeous. The print quality is fantastic. The only thing you have to worry about is centering issues, but other than that, the set is cheap. It's really good looking. It's a modern chase. I highly recommend the Starlight Exodia set for your collection if you're trying to collect every single Exodia. Now, there is one more significant rarity that I want to mention, and that is the Duelist League rares. I usually don't include rares in this type of collection video, but because Exodia doesn't have too much love, I figured a rare version is worthy in this case. So the rare set of Exodia was released in 2010 as a Duelist League promotional card, but what's really cool about this set is not only is it the whole set comes in rare, so instead of the regular silver text that you usually see on rares, in this case we got 4 different colors, and that is purple, red, blue, and green. So the Exodia pieces have 5 different pieces that come in 4 different variants. That's 20 cards in total that you can collect. I just thought that that was a really cool and unique release, so I figured it was worth including. Now, if you really hate yourself and you really want to ruin your collection, you can pick up the gold version of this release, and that is the premium gold Return of the Bling. If for whatever reason you want to dilute your collection, the premium gold version was released in 2015 and it has no alternative. They go for around like 50 to 60 bucks for a complete set, so it's not very expensive at all. So that's the Spellbinding Circle version of Exodia. Konami did release an uncensored version of Exodia in the TCG, and that comes in the Lost Art. So there is 5 pieces of Exodia released at separate times during this event, and those were released in 2018. The code for those Lost Arts is LART-EN002 all the way up to 006. The head is the most expensive piece. It's really cool in my opinion. I think it's a fantastic promotional release. We don't really get too many promos nowadays. In terms of modern collecting, I think it as well as the Starlight Rare set are pretty much creme de la creme for the most part. So that's the Exodia set list, where you have a complete Exodia set in the exact same rarity. Again, to recap, we have Ultra Rare in LOB, we have Secret Rare in UBP as well as Legendary Collection Yugi's World, we have the Starlight set in Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge, we have the Duelist League 2 rare variants, and then lastly we have the uncensored Lost Art variants. I highly recommend every single one of these for your Exodia collection, and I highly recommend you skip the gold version. Now I want to cover the head. Let's just say you really have a preference for head and you don't want the Exodia pieces for whatever reason. You can collect the head from those sets, but at the same time the head also had its own separate releases, and the first one starts with DDS, where the head by himself came as a prismatic secret rare. And it wasn't until 2004 where we got the first head reprint in Ultra Rare, and that is in Dark Beginning 1. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, in this set they did not come all as Ultra Rares. The head was the only one, and then the arms and the legs came as commons. And then we skip to 2008, where on the European side, Retro Pack 1 released an Ultra Rare variant of the Exodia head, and then commons for the arms and the legs. And then on the North American counterpart, we got Dark Legends 1, which also released the Exodia head as an Ultra Rare, and then the legs and the arms as commons as well. So there's 3 different Ultra Rare variants alongside the LOB for the head, and that is Dark Beginning 1, Retro Pack 1, and then Dark Legends 1. There was a secret rare promo for the Exodia head, and then there was no release for the arms and the legs, and that was in Master Collection 1. That's probably the most available Exodia head that you will ever find. I mean, I don't think I've seen a more common Exodia head other than this one. Lastly, we got one more release, and that is a quarter century secret rare of the Exodia head in the most recent 10 Dueling Heroes. This one comes as a promo, and it's around like 5 to 10 bucks. It's incredibly cheap. It's a huge disservice to the Starlight Rare set that they released in the past, but it is what it is. Konami does not respect their rarities whatsoever. So that's pretty much all the head that you can get in the TCG. But now what about variants of Exodia? I figured since there aren't too many variants for the Exodia pieces in general, let's just do the Exodia spin-offs because there aren't that many anyway. The first variant... Alright, hold up, wait a second. Before we go on to the Exodia spin-offs, I did forget one rarity, and that is the ultimate rare. This rarity exists only for the Exodia head, so you can't get a complete Exodia set in ultimate rare. However, you can get the head as an ultimate rare on the OCG side as of this video. There was an announcement recently that the OTS 25 pack will be containing a TCG ultimate rare Exodia. I don't think that it will be the Exodia complete set, and the main reason is because they only put 3 ultimate rares in there, so it would make sense to again just use the head and not use the whole 5 pieces of Exodia. But I do think that if they make it 5 pieces in ultimate rare, it'll be absolutely killer. And by the way, the main reason that they're doing the Exodia head is not like random by any means. There is a new set that's coming out really soon, and that's called the Infinite Forbidden. This set is rumored to have a lot of Exodia support, a lot of Exodia retrains. I mean, I guess I should have made this video after this set releases, but it is what it is. If you guys want a video specifically on the Infinite Forbidden and seeing like an ultimate collector's guide for that set individually, I'm happy to do that. Just comment it down below. Let me know if you guys are interested in stuff like that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. Sorry I had to butt in there. Let's go back to the Exodia spinoffs. The first variant of Exodia is called Exod Master of the Guard. This is probably like the first retrain of this card. I'm not even sure if it's even a retrain. Who the hell really knows? But anyway, the first release of this set came out in the structure deck 7 Invincible Fortress, and that was in 2006. It comes as an ultra rare, and then it was only reprinted as a rare in the World Championship Pack 2010, which is a promo pack released at the World Championship. The second spin-off of Exodia is called Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord, and this was released in 2008 as a Shonen Jump promo. This card is very expensive at like $50 to $60, and it's very hard to find in near mint to mint condition because of the way that it was glued onto the Shonen Jump magazine. This card did get a lot of reprints. There was a reprint in the Collector Tin 2010 as a super rare. And then there was a Mosaic rare in the battle pack that doesn't really matter, and then commons in other sets. For the most part, the prime copy that people want to collect for Exodius is the 2008 Shonen Jump Ultra Rare. And then lastly, we have my favorite version of Exodia, and that is Exodia Necros. This card artwork is unbelievable. It is a must-have staple in your Exodia collection. The black Exodia is just ridiculous with how good it looks, but the first printing of that card was in Dark Crisis in 2003. The first edition Dark Crisis version is the prime copy to own for Exodia Necros, but I don't want you to sleep on the secret rare from Master Collection Volume 2. That card is very expensive, it's very hard to come by, and it's very hard to grade as well. I highly recommend you pick up those 2 copies, but if you want the complete master set of Exodia Necros, there is a Dark Revelation super rare version, which I highly recommend as well. But if you want to stick to the core bare necessities, I would definitely say you want the Dark Crisis first edition and then the Master Collection Volume 2 secret rare promo card. One Easter egg is the card called Contract with Exodia, which is the card used to summon Exodia Necros. It has Exodia on it. It's a spell card. It comes out of Dark Crisis, but unfortunately it's only a common, so I'm not sure how important it is for your Exodia collection in your binder. But that's pretty much it in terms of collecting the TCG Exodia, every single version, every single variant. Now, if you want to collect the OCG variants as well, I would recommend the ultra rare volume cards or like the series 1 cards. This was the first printing of Exodia, and most of them are relatively cheap. All of them are pretty much under $100. But not only that, they also released reprints of these Exodia pieces in modern card quality. So the card quality is fantastic. The holo foil pops like crazy. It's a lot better than the originals, which had pretty cheap card stock in my opinion. Now, the only other version that I would recommend on the OCG side, other than the series 1s as well as the series 1 reprints, is this prismatic secret rare foiling that came out, and that was in Phantom God. This set is pretty much the most expensive Exodia set out there, and it's pretty much the reason that Phantom God has any value, since it's just a reprint set. But the Exodia pieces in here are really well loved by collectors, and they go for a lot of money. All right, that is pretty much every single Exodia. All right, wait. This is Editor Omar again, and again, I made a mistake. There is 2 more Exodia spin-offs that I forgot to mention. The first one is a card called Exodia, the Legendary Defender. This was a card that was hand-drawn by Kazuki Takahashi himself. So this means it has no frame around the card image, as well as Kazuki Takahashi's signature on the bottom right. The TCG version of this card was released in 2019. It is a prismatic secret rare, but it doesn't look anything like the originals do. It looks absolutely terrible because it has the new TCG Konami technology. It's not like the Japanese cardstock, but it was released in Japan in the prismatic secret rare, or what they call just regular secret rare, and it was released in 20th anniversary secret rare, which is totally badass. I would definitely say the prime copy to collect for this is the 20th secret rare. It's by far the most expensive, but if you're English exclusive, then this means that the 2019 is the only option you have to collect this card. Now, the other card that I want to mention is a card called True Exodia. First of all, it's an OCG exclusive. It is also a Kazuki Takahashi artwork, so again, no frame and signature at the bottom right of the card image. But the artwork itself is pretty much like a chibi version of Exodia. We've never really seen a lot of that in the TCG. I mean, just the tunes pretty much with like Toon DMG, like Toon Summon Skull, but we haven't really seen a lot of it. And it was definitely a unique card. It was released in the Monster Art Box, which I did a video on right here. You can check it out. This was probably one of the best releases ever done in probably any TCG. It is an incredible art book that I highly recommend for any high-end Yu-Gi-Oh collector. But anyway, the card came as a promo in there, and it was only released once as a 20th anniversary secret rare, and I don't think it will ever get any release after that. That promo card goes for around $80 on the OCG side, but for what it is, I think it's actually quite undervalued because it has so much identity. But anyway, that's actually all that there is in terms of Exodia. Let's go back to the video. All right, that is pretty much every single Exodia that you can think of on the TCG side as well as the OCG side. There are other smaller variants like in commons and stuff like that, but I don't think they're significant enough to mention at all. I think that this pretty much encapsulates everything that you need in order to kickstart as well as have the best Exodia collection out there. But I'm not omniscient. This is just off of my own research. Let me know if you think I missed anything in the comments down below. Is this something that you'd like to collect? I absolutely love archetype collectors. I think that that is probably like the best thing that you can probably collect in any TCG. Here's the Cyber Dragon archetype collector video where I absolutely fell in love with his collection. But that's pretty much it from me. Like the video, subscribe, do all the good stuff. If you want to support me further, you can pick up your own arcane sleeves as well as cardware binders that I make myself. They're made by collectors for collectors, and they take your collection to the next level. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.